you when?
There we go.
Okay, perfect. Good evening, everybody. Welcome everyone to our summer competition 2025 for the Redlands Camera Club. Um, so welcome our judges as well. So I would like to quickly go over our agenda today. So we're gonna I'll introduce the judges to everybody, then go over some of the scoring guidelines, and then we will all calibrate our monitors, and then do a quick image run through for all the images that are in the competition. For this competition, we have a total of 51 images. So we will have a break in between. So the break will be, we will start the break after the 26th image is judged, and the break will be 5 minutes long. And after that, we'll finish, continue with our judging, and then we'll conclude the competition. So I would like to welcome our distinguished judges. The first judge that we have here is Mr. Kip Cothran. Kip Cothran is a master photographer from the Professional Photographers of America.
Julie,
Yes.
sorry, did you want to share your screen?
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen?
No.
Oh my gosh, sorry. I was talking all this time and I thought I had my screen shared. Give me a second. I'm sorry, everybody.
Okay,
All
we
right.
see it.
Okay. Sorry for that. So let's start again. Kip Cothran is a master photographer from the Professional Photographers of America. Kip has been in the photography business for 43 years. At the age of 8, he printed his first black and white picture in Washington, D.C. 1998 to 1990, Kip traveled the world as a cruise ship photographer aboard mostly Princess cruise ships. Today, Kip photographs mostly events, shooting, printing, and delivering on location without hesitation is his success for instant gratification. So, Kip, do you have anything else you want to add? Sorry, you're on mute, Kip. Sorry.
Just live life and love it because it's GOOD good like an SHOULD should.
All right. Thank you. um, moving on, our next judge, sorry. Our next judge is Troy Miller. Troy Miller, a seasoned creative, has dedicated over 25 years to wedding photography as his full-time profession. Holding a Master of Photography from the Professional Photographers of America, PPA, he has garnered numerous awards for his work. Troy is also the founder of the F64 Live Photography Community, a hub for photographers to learn, share, and grow together. As a regular contributor in the This Week in Photo community, he co-hosts live stream image critiques alongside Frederick Van Johnson. Outside of wedding photography, Troy spends his time mountain biking or experimenting with other creative mediums, including metal, ceramics, furniture building, and even working with fire. Troy, do you have anything else you want to add?
I think Kip already said it for me.
Okay.
No, thank you, though.
All right, thank you. So our third judge is Nancy Gall. Early in her career, Nancy worked at local, state, and national magazines as a photographer, writer, and associate editor. She spent 7 years marketing as the college photographer at Riverside City College until becoming director of marketing for the extension program at California State University, Fresno. She returned to Riverside, where she taught as an adjunct instructor at 4 community colleges for 9 years. Ultimately, she took charge of the Riverside City College photography program for 16 years. She is now in semi-retirement and continues to teach photography part-time as professor emeritus. Welcome, Nancy. Nancy, do you have anything else you want to add?
All I can say is I have not yet been able to walk away from teaching photography because I love sharing what I know with my students. So I'm doing that part-time and using quite a bit of my other personal time as a volunteer pet rescue person. And so I drive rescued animals from here to there, and I get to have lots of great stories. That's about it.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Nancy. So next I will be just showing you the scoring guidelines that our judges will be using for tonight. So as you can see on the left side is a category and the scores are on the right side. So this is what our judges are using as a guideline when they do the judging. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and give me a second here. And now we're going to move on with calibrating our monitors. So give me a second here. All right, I'm going to be selecting the first image. Can everyone see my first image?
Nope, got to share screen, I think.
Cheryl, will you be sharing the remote display?
I think you have to share your screen because I don't have the images.
Because my view is the scorekeeper's view.
Oh.
So if you go to printcompetition.com/app access, and then if you click, you see the screen, one column on the left says app links. Click on the remote display. Sorry, Cheryl, you're on mute.
Sorry, I wasn't aware that I was supposed to do this as well.
Okay, sorry.
It's not liking the link.
Okay, let me put the link in the chat.
I think if Troy put it there, it's there earlier. If you don't, okay, never mind.
That was a different link. That was
Okay.
for the judges.
Okay, I'm there now.
Okay, so you see app links on the left-hand side. You click remote display.
Where you're at again?
Where is that again?
Remote display.
Where is it located?
So in the app links.
There's 2 rows
There-
of blue links at the top of the page. It's the
Yeah.
left column, but the third one down.
Okay. All right, you're gonna give me this information?
Do you see it?
Yeah, you can text me the information if you want, or just tell me it.
Sorry, what do you mean? Did you click on
It's
the?
asking for a password, name, panel.
Oh, it's asking for that. Okay, give me a second.
The password's
Okay.
RCC123, capitals.
Yeah. So associations RCC June 16th, 2025. The position is official observer.
The only caps in the password is RCC.
Yes, and there's no space.
Okay,
So it's RCC all in caps and 123.
that's the password.
Yes.
Okay, first.
And And then the position is official observer.
Okay.
And then the password, and then you can just put your first name. That's fine.
Okay. Panel one.
And wait, there's the panel. Okay, if this is panel one, yeah.
Okay.
And
And
just
group
press-
association. Okay, got it. Got it. All right, I'm going.
Okay.
Check, 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 check. Okay.
So what do you see right now on the monitor?
Start to make a final check of your monitor.
Yeah, that's right. So can you share that screen?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience.
All right. So this is our first screen. Does everybody see the two images? One with pictures of the kids and babies at the bottom, and then the picture of the black and white grayscale linearization, I guess, linearization. Okay. So I'm gonna have 3 more samples before we're gonna start our our competition. So the first one here is the Sherman sample. Can you all see a wooden figure with some crayons and a Sharpie?
Yes.
All right. The second one is called the chick magnet.
Little boy next to a car.
Yeah, little boy next to the car. And the next one is Generation Bridge. It has a photograph of a whole family standing on a bridge. We good?
We're good.
All right. So next, I'm going to do a quick run through of the images. And I'm just going to let you know that I'm going to put myself on mute because you hear a lot of clicking. So in order to not hear the clicking, I'm just going to run through the images. For this competition, we have 51 entries in total. So we're going to do a quick run of all the 51 images. So I'm going to be clicking the first one. Give me a second. All right, this is our last image. So so are all the judges ready? If you're ready, then I'm gonna start putting up our first image, and Carl will be the announcer, and he will be announcing the category and the title of the photo. So are we all ready, judges and Carl?
I'm ready.
Yes.
All right,
Ready?
this is the first image.
Was that okay? First image in the animal category. Not quite grown up. Not quite grown up.
So judges, you can go ahead and score. So this, we're waiting for Kip. All right, so the score that I'm going to be announcing will be the average. So the score for this photo is 82.
And this goes to Kip.
I scored this image at 79. I like the image. It's a really nice image. I love the background as far as the depth of field. Real sharp focus on the eyes of the bird. And I like the feeding of the bird. What I don't like, there's a hot spot on the food going into the mouth. And we also have the one feather on the right side that's out of focus because obviously he's moving. But nice capture, real nice capture. I just think that if you bring down that food in the mouth, that would be really nice. Maybe crop in a little from the top and really nice image.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next image.
Next image in the category X, which is architecture. Category is precious freedom. Precious freedom.
Which is, the score is 81. Carl?
This one is Troy's.
I'm at an 81, and I really like this image a lot. I think that it's very, very powerful in the center where we have the building and the vanishing point that's there. And that is my favorite part of the image. Where I'm really struggling going higher is the leaves. Although they make a really wonderful frame, there are so many of them. I think that if you were to crop maybe 20% of that frame and get rid of those leaves, which we really don't need, and focus on the center, kind of bring our attention to the center, I think you'd have a much more powerful image.
All right, thank you. Next image.
Another category X, architecture. This is Midi Hotel. Midi Hotel.
Just waiting for one more score. Nancy. The score is 81.
Alrighty. I scored this an 82. Generally speaking, it's a very powerful image. And although I am one of those rare people who is fond of vignetting, I think that the vignetting here is excessive. It has added to the drama, and it does move the eye to the central area from top to bottom. And that's a nice job. And of course, the depth of field on this is lovely. But I just think that it's been over dramatized with too much vignette.
All right, next image.
Another architecture image, category X. Freeform design. Freeform design.
The score is 83.
I scored this image an 83. Lovely image, really, a really nice image. Lots of design in here, lots of areas to look at. Even though there's not a lot of triangles, I still see triangles. The only thing I would try to do is try to bring out some of the highlights, bring some of the highlights down at the top. But really, there's just a lot of beautiful lights, darks, and midtones in here that are just beautiful. They're just really nice. I love it. Nice capture all the way around.
Thank you. Next image.
In the open miscellaneous category, foggy lone tree. Foggy lone tree.
The score is 80, and I have a message saying majority challenge. Click save, discuss, and restore. I'm not sure what that means.
The site gives an automatic challenge if there's a certain discrepancy spread in the
Oh,
scoring.
more than 10 points, right?
I don't know it, yeah, but it should be. I mean, the PPA standard is 10 points off the average, but it's really house rules, whatever you want to do. So you could call a challenge at this point if you wanted to, and just make everybody talk about it. And Anne likes challenges, so.
All right, so let's have a challenge then.
Okay, I'll go ahead and go first. I'm at an 82, so I might be one of the higher scoring. I'm at an 82 because I love this image. It feels good. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful image. It's something that I could look at for a long time. And I enjoy it. The reason I didn't go higher is because of what looks to me to be a highlighted vignette, and it feels more artificial because along the fence line in the lower left corner, it's actually darker and has more contrast than anywhere else in the scene. And that feels unnatural to me. So if you want to go for this ethereal, soft light look, it should be the same all the way across. Kind of like I'm standing in fog, and just make it all of it like that. And I think I could have gone higher. And I'm okay with like the loss of detail in the sky because again, I feel like I'm standing in a field of fog. So I was in an 82, and that's why I liked it.
Nancy?
My thoughts are similar. I truly enjoy foggy images, but the inconsistency here really bothered me because we are not foggy on the lower left and we are very foggy on the lower right. And I felt that this might come from artificially putting in, a light vignette to emphasize the fog, and it didn't work over on the left. So it's the inconsistency, and I scored this 78.
Okay, that leaves us with Kip.
I scored it a 79, so that shouldn't have been a challenge at all. So, for the same reasons, pretty much the bottom right hand corners got the white vignette, and everything else looks nice, but the white vignettes throw me out. Too much fog on the right. Everything else has been said.
So
Do
what?
we want to clear and then judges rescore?
Okay, it's cleared. Judges, you can go ahead and rescore. So now
Final score is an 80, and it looks
and a
like
79, 80 and 79. So I would say we just say 80, but I don't know what everybody else wants to say.
that's the score is 80 after the challenge.
I
Okay,
have,
go
yeah,
ahead to the next one.
okay, all right.
This is from the places category. Title is The Procession. The Procession.
The score is 79.
And I guess it's Troy started the last time. We'll go to Nancy.
I scored this 82 and I thought
muted.
I'm sorry? I heard someone.
And can you mute that person, please? Go ahead, Nancy.
Alrighty.
Sorry, Nancy got muted by accident. Nancy, you want to unmute yourself? Okay, go
Better?
ahead, Nancy.
We're
Yes.
there?
Yes, we can hear you
All
now.
right.
Sorry about that.
No problem. I scored this 82 and I thought maybe I was being a point or two generous. There are some lovely things about it. The silhouettes down below are wonderful, but I am concerned about the overemphasis on the brilliant yellow along the horizon. I just don't think it works. As far as the choice of shutter speed for the stars, that's great. Love catching the clouds in there, but I thought it was a little bit too much post-processing to try and push this, and it became quite unreal. Overall, though, I do enjoy it.
All right, next image.
Next image. This is in the animal category. Allen's splash pad. Allen's splash pad.
The score is 83.
And this one should go to Kip.
Score this image at 82. Very nice image. What I would do is crop a lot of the bottom part out. Crop out of the bottom part and crop in closer to the bird. Get more of that splash, make it a little bit bigger. But I do like the play and the fun part of the bird just having fun with the water and just having a ball. Nice caption.
Thank you.
Next image is in the animal category. Diamondback snack for lunch. Diamondback snack for lunch.
The score is 79.
Okay, we just had Kip, so I goes to Troy.
Okay. My score was a 77. This is one of those tough images to judge for me because I see what's going on in there. I like the context of the image. But we have a lot of distractions. We have the grass coming in on the snake's face. This looks like an image that was heavily cropped. So we have a lot of grain, so we're losing some of that tonality in there. And if we did crop this in from a bigger image, we could certainly choose a better composition instead of putting, the snake dead center with all this negative space on the left. We could tighten that up, maybe make it a little bit more horizontal, give us some space around it, some environment that the snake is living in. I think it's a great capture. That's why I'm at 77. But in order to go higher, maybe a slight vignette, And I know you can't pose this kind of thing, so this is photojournalistic. But waiting for a moment, stepping a little bit to the left or right, moving some elements that are in your way would really help the score on this image. So great capture.
All right. Thank you. Next image.
Next image is in category X, architecture. Dragon on the rooftop. Dragon on the rooftop.
The score is 78.
And this is Nancy.
Because there is the dragon head, the viewer knows where to look. But there is so much detail, so much patterning, and the eye is guided rapidly from rooftop to rooftop to rooftop. And ultimately, we look at the dragon, but the rooftops end up being stronger than the dragon. And for that reason, I scored this a 76.
Can I add a comment?
Sure.
Everything Nancy said. Looking at this image now, having a little bit more time, there is significant cloning tracks in this image. Directly above to the left of the peak, you can see another peak, a shadow there. It looks like the sky was dropped in along the left edge. At the key line, I can see a line where it's sharp and then it's soft below the dragon's mouth. It's fuzzy along the edge of the dragon. There's some cloning tracks in there. I think the concept what you have here is great, but the execution of dropping into sky or cloning things out or fixing things needs a little bit more attention.
All right, thank you.
In the open miscellaneous category, Marines War Dog. Marines War Dog.
The score is 80.
This one skips.
I scored this 79. I like the image. I like the smoke coming out. I don't know if it's just too tight for me. Plus, I don't see, I think I would like to see a little bit more light coming in the cockpit. So whether the plane was going the other way, other direction, have more light coming in. I think she's going the wrong way. I'd like to see more light coming toward the pilot so I could see the pilot itself. Otherwise, nice caption as far as the smoke and the detail in the plane. Plane's really sharp, except for the, nice drag on the smoke, nice drag on the props, and I think we got an 80 on it. That merit?
80, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Congratulations, to maker.
Thank you.
Next image in the close-up category, Be Mine. Be Mine. Be is spelled with a double E.
The score is 80.
See, did Kip just have that last one?
Mhm.
This must be Troy's then.
Okay. I'm at an 80 and I love the bee. The bee is the hero in this image. The reason that I didn't go higher than that, and I'm sure this was a hard capture, so kudos for that. But the reason I didn't go higher is because so much of the rest of the image really doesn't need to be there. And it also looks like there's been a bunch of cloning done along the edges of the back pedal, trying to clean that up. So whatever was back there was distracting, so it looks unnatural. So I would say, pull back on that Photoshop work a little bit and crop in on the bee itself, and just give us a hint that it's headed into a flower. We don't need all this white and all this bright yellow on the right. It really does eclipse the bee. So I'm at an 80. I really liked it. So great capture. Good. Congratulations to the maker.
Thank you.
Okay, stand by just a second. I'm having a little technical difficulty here. Okay, are we at in the category X, architecture category? Skywalk. Skywalk.
The score is 78.
Excuse me.
Nancy. Yep.
Yeah, I know it's me. Thank you. I'm enjoying so much of it. We have wonderful lines guiding the viewer's eye. The viewer knows exactly where to look and where the eye should travel, and then back again. However, we have an excess of plain wall down at the bottom that I don't think is necessary, because there's so many wonderful things and so many active things going on up above that I would like to see the bottom of this photo trimmed a bit. And I'm wondering if something couldn't be done with the sky through the very top of the image to make it less absolutely completely white. If it could, drop down a couple of percent. And generally speaking, I find it quite enjoyable, and I gave it an 80.
Thank you.
The next image is from the places category. Forest Falls. Forest Falls.
The score is 79.
I scored this image is 78. I think it's been worked a lot. You have a lot of hot spots up in the sky, and I think they were brought down a lot. You got a lot of blue in the mountains, and just a little bit of cleanup in the foreground with the pine cones and well, I'm not sure what's on the rock, but that background just, I don't know what's happening back there in the background, whether it's a filter and the tree, with the sky and the mountain back there. It's all a blue, so I'm not sure what's going on back there, but looks like it's been worked a little bit too much for me. But so I scored this image is 78, I believe. Yes, 78.
All right. Thank you.
Next image is in category X, architecture. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit.
The score is 80.
I'm at a 78 on this, and I really like the image. I think these are wonderful. I think I always encourage everybody, no matter where you are, take a chance to look behind you where you've come from, because there's always cool stuff there, but always look up because there's always neat stuff. And this is one of those irresistible shots. Um, where I'm really struggling to get past 78 is I I don't know if it was intentional of the maker to put this image off skew, slightly rotated clockwise, but I think that this speaks to geometry, right? This speaks to like it needs balance. So I would definitely rotate that, try to get them, very, very, very well balanced. So you get your vertical and horizontal space in there, your negative space. And then just some cleanup. I think you could push in closer. I don't think you need the little building artifacts in the lower left. In the top, you've got what looks like maybe a light top of a light pole that's coming out, and then getting rid of these orange reflections in the building in the top right. That way you get away from three colors basically and just have two, where you have like the darks and the blues and stuff. Great image. I think it's awesome, and you could definitely do a lot to get it a lot further in scoring. So I'm at a 78.
Thank you.
In the people category, child delight. Child delight.
The score is 79.
79,
challenge.
Nancy.
Did I hear a challenge?
Yeah, I'm challenging it. But Nancy should make her comment first, and then I'll do the rebuttal, or however you guys want to do it.
Okay, I can go ahead. Delightful idea. I do have a problem with the child with the food all over the mouth. I find it quite unappealing, and I think most people would also. I'd like to see a deeper depth of field, because the emphasis here is we do have the correct sharpness on the face, but we have the hands protruding out toward the camera and becoming significantly blurrier. And I think it's quite distracting. So we have hands as large as the face, but they don't. I'm not crazy about the depth of field. How's that? And let's leave it at that. Oh, and I have to look and say, I scored it a 76.
Hey, see, Kip,
I scored this image 78. My biggest issue was the hands going right in front with the string going in front of the eye. The expression is great on her face I do like the cake or whatever's on her face. She's happy. The depth of field behind her is great. It looks like a lens baby. I think it's lens baby. Was it? I think it was lens baby. Lens to me. But just that string is distracting and taking me out of the image. So I just scored a 78, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm an 84, and I really love this image. And what I would suggest that the judges look at if you're going to raise your score. I'm not going to change my score because I'm happy with my 84. One, I think the shallow depth of field is absolutely perfect for this. I love how, we're not distracted by the background. I love how our hands are out of focus. Now, I'm a big fan of shallow depth of field, and I shoot everything at a shallow depth of field. So I personally really like that. So it speaks to me. Yes, the string is slightly distracting. And if we call this a portrait, yeah, in this category, we could argue that you could have taken the time to move that. But I think that's like a very childish behavior, right? Is to like hide behind a thing, the food on the face, the smile, the hands. Like to me, this is what a portrait is. We're capturing the essence of some person and their emotional state and what they feel. And I think we get that. So to me, the portrait is very successful. And for all the reasons that, Kip and Nancy mentioned, that's why I'm not higher than an 84, but I really like it. So I would just suggest my judges have a look at it. Maybe they see a little bit of that, and then, we'll rescore. But I'm staying at 84.
Well, Troy, just for the record, I didn't have a problem with the string. But
Well, I know Kip did, but I'm not calling out names.
I know Kip did, and I'm not having an argument with Kip. But I really, generally speaking, I love these kinds of photos. But really, the child with the messy face, and this one is particularly messy. I find it only someone in the family could love this look. Is my feeling about it.
judges rescore, please.
The scorekeeper was not ready.
Sorry, I'm ready now.
Okay, there. Taking its time. There it goes.
Just waiting for one more score. Kip.
I'm in.
Okay, I haven't seen
Try it
it yet.
again, Kip.
Okay.
There we go.
The score is 80.
Thank
So
you,
from
judges.
79 to 80. All right, moving on to the next one.
In the animal category, bluebird at nesting house. Bluebird at nesting house.
The score is 81.
Is it Kim?
Let's see, who started the last one? Must be
I
Kip.
think it's Kip. Yeah.
I scored this image at 80. I don't know if there's a flash on this or not, but I don't know. Anyway, depth of field is good. Nice sharp image of the bird. I love the colors in the bird. I think we just need a little bit more contrast in it, just a little bit more pop, and it would just be a lot sharper and a lot better. I like the depth of field. That screw back there, I love, and I like the fact that it's just a little bit out of focus. The eye is great, the beak is good, and the house looks great. Good capture.
Right. Thank you.
In the places category, celestial grass, excuse me, celestial gatekeeper. Celestial gatekeeper.
The score is 82.
I think that's me. So I'm at an 82. I overall I love this image. I think that the color harmony is wonderful. I think that the your capture of the Milky Way is wonderful. The low horizon and the bow in the horizon, all that kind of stuff. I love that a lot. Where I'm struggling, and maybe this is my superpower, but I see editing. And dead center just above the horizon to the left of that round rock, it looks like there's a seam right there. The rocks on the far left around the edges, they're fuzzy. So there's been some cleanup there. The plant in front of the rock, the plant terminates right at the rock, which means that you've probably cleaned the plant up. Left hand edge, there's a sharp edge there. And there's a couple other spots in the sky. So the reason I didn't go any higher was because of the Photoshop work, but because the reason I went this high is because it's a beautiful image. And I think that just a little bit of cleanup detail, you can take this thing, this image a lot further. So well done at an 82.
My
Thank you.
apologies to the maker for almost accidentally calling it the celestial grasshopper. In the animal category, royal love offering. Royal love offering.
Just waiting for one more score.
Yes, it's me. Since I'm going to give you feedback on this, I want to make sure I'm accurate.
It is your turn.
Yes, it is. Okie doke.
The score is 78.
Alrighty. I'm trying to find out exactly why I'm unhappy with this. I mean, it's the capturing these two birds, capturing the behavior, absolutely lovely. Composition is very nice, but there's something going on, and I have I have a feeling that Troy could tell me exactly what it is. I'm having a problem with the rocks in the background. And I'm wondering if there is some editing technique that I'm not spotting that is making them seem incompatible with the rest of the photograph for me. So I've never, ever asked this favor before. Is there a chance, Troy, that I could ask you to contribute?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're absolutely right. The challenge that we have is the depth of field through the background is not consistent. So in the middle, it's nice and soft, but on the edges, it's not. As we come down the center, it's nice and sharp, and then we move left and right, and the sharpness changes. The lower right-hand corner, it looks like there's a chunk of rock that has been, cloned in there because it's sharper than the rock next to it. Lower left-hand corner, same thing. So I think what we're seeing here, Nancy, is we're seeing probably some cleanup or some cloning work done in the background, and the sharpness and the depth of field does not feel consistent all the way through because of that. And that's what's
And this is
certainly
exactly what
disjointed.
I'm thinking, inconsistent depth of field in the background due
Yep.
to post-processing.
Yeah, if you look to the left of the bird on the left, like right behind its neck, you can see there's a little band of where it's really, really soft, and then it gets really sharp or relatively sharp. And that is very disjointing unless it's pointed out to you, and then you're like, oh, well, there, of course it is.
Hmm. Thank you very much.
Of course. We're a team.
All right. Thank you both. Next image.
In the places category, Mobius arch under the Milky Way. Mobius arch under the Milky Way.
The score is 85.
Yep.
Score this image an 83. Very, very, very nice capture. Beautiful colors. Nice, nice light painting as well. The reason I scored it at 83 instead of 85 that it scored is because of that hot spot with that white light that needs to be brought down a bunch on that one rock to just even it out, burn it in, whatever you got to do. But that one spot is just taking my eye out of taking my eye straight there, but everything else is looking great. So fix that spot and I'll take it to an 85. I might even give you an 86.
Thank you.
Next image is in the category X, architecture category. F.L. writes to light, I can never pronounce this word, Taliesin West. Frank Lloyd
Lloyd Wright.
writes Taliesin West.
The score is 82.
Roy.
Yeah, I'm at an 83, and I think you did a great job. And I think Frank Lloyd Wright would appreciate the fact that we have this wonderful off-skew triangle in the lower left that's leading into his image because he was really big on angles and things. So I think that's kind of cool. Um, I think where I'm struggling with this, and I think that this image could be a lot better, is if you had chosen a slightly different perspective, a perspective that wasn't obvious to somebody just standing there. Getting down much lower, shooting across the water, something like that. I think would have really, really done this image well. We really have three images. We have the sky to the mountain. We have the very center part that has the building, and then we have the reflection and then the building. And I think they're all kind of competing, and I would love to see some more depth through this, whether it's through shading, some subtle dodging and burning. And also on the right hand side, there's a person back there, and you could crop that off. You're not going to lose a darn thing, and crop right into that bush. And the other thing is just on the title. When you enter images in competition, one, pick a title that's super simple that the whoever's saying the title can say, because it really does affect the judge's perception of your image when it comes up, because we're trying to like anticipate what this is. So not that I'm scoring down on that, just a suggestion. So I'm at an 83. I really love the architecture, how you handled the black and whites. I think it's wonderful. Um, some subtle dodging and burning and a little crop on the right would definitely help me. So good job.
Thank you.
In the close-up category, splendor. Splendor.
The score is 82.
This has got to be Nancy.
I scored this an 83. Overall, I think it's quite lovely. We have these patterns and forms that attract the viewer. However, I'm afraid that our water really looks artificial. Whoever this is knows what that percentage between water and I've forgotten the name of the other thing we use that makes it stick to the petals. So it looks a bit on the artificial side to me. But other than that, I think it's really quite lovely. I probably would have cropped down from the top about a fifth of the way down because we are mostly we are seeing these beautiful, bright, motivating drops, and then we see this series of brown ones that looks like we have aging on the petals. And so I think I would crop that down, and that's about it.
All right, thank you.
In the people category, the flower girl. The flower girl.
The score is 79. I have a majority challenge.
It's up to you whether you follow the software. If you look at all the scores, if there isn't like a 10-point spread,
Yeah, there isn't.
yeah,
We'll
then
just
I
keep it. Okay, we'll just keep it.
Yeah, we'll just accept it as is. They're very close.
Okay, the score is 79.
All right, I scored this image an 80, and I fought with myself on it because there are some things I would make better. Number one, if you're going to retouch this image, I would get rid of the stray hairs in the image. The girl has a beautiful smile, but you have that hot spot on the top right-hand corner. Either bring that down a whole lot, or crop down on that image a whole lot, or bend her down a little bit where you don't see that sky, or photograph her against the flowers and don't have that background. You also have, and I don't mind the white on the right-hand side. I'm not sure if that's a waterfall or what that is over there. That part is fine, but just that hot spot in the sky is way too bright and distracting. The stray hairs are also bugging me. I do like the depth of field, as Troy said before, but I love the light coming in from the back, giving her a little accent behind her left side, on her face. So nice capture. I'd like a little pop in the eyes, but for what it is, I like what I got. So I gave her 80.
All right, thank you.
In the close-up category, we have jacaranda tree. Jacaranda tree.
The score is 79.
so I'm at a 77. So I'm probably the bad one in the bunch. And I have one of these trees. I love these trees. They are messy, but I love them. And the color is so wonderful. Where I'm really struggling with this is, when you look at an image like this, there is so much going on, and it's all kind of in the same plane of focus. It's all gathering my attention the same. And so that's a problem, because I think where we should be looking is on the sort of the right third center is where it's in focus. But what's attracting my attention is the bright background in the back, the bright leaf on the left, and we don't need any of that. I think if you were to crop this nice and tight, keep it horizontal, maybe keep the sharpness what's in focus in the right quadrant, right? The top right third, and then brighten it up a little bit so that we're really deep into the purple of the jacaranda tree, I think you would have a much, much better image. Slightly more abstract, but certainly a much stronger image. So that's why I'm at a 77. I like it. You could do a little work to it and it'll get you up a couple points.
Thank you.
In the category X, architecture category, sunset through the memorial. Sunset through the memorial.
The score is 82.
I scored this an 84. I really love the symmetry, and I love the capture of the late afternoon colors and light. I like the balance. Excuse me just a moment. I have to look off to my right. Okay, we're okay. I would love to see a little bit of editing going on the wall face and on the pathway, which is at the bottom of the image. I'd like to see it just a little bit more contrasting, nothing to compete with what is there in the center of the piece, but just something to give it a little bit of pop. But I think that this is a marvelous capture, and I would love to have an opportunity to go out and work with this. It's great. So congratulations to the maker.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. In the animal category, fanning out. Fanning out.
The score is 82.
Score this image 80. Nice capture. Again, another nice lens, another prime lens. Out of focus background, beautiful, nice sharp bird, and I love the leading line into with the stem coming that he's on the perch that he's standing on. So the only hot spot is the flowers or the leaves right behind him to the right. But pretty much my eye goes right to the bird, and then it drifts off a little bit to the right with the hot spot back there, but still a nice capture on the bird. Deserving of a merit.
All right. After the next image is judged, we will be taking a 5-minute break.
This is in the category X, architecture category. Miami architecture. Miami architecture.
The score is 81.
So I'm right at an 80. I really love the black and white treatment on this. I think this suits this so well. Where a couple things that I wish, like one in architecture, I wish those people weren't there because that would make this so much more powerful as an architectural image. You've got this gentleman on the bike. He's like dead center bottom. It's not really like a big part of this image playing in, playing out, doing anything. The woman walking, her left hand's in kind of a weird position. So for architecture, I really struggle with the humans in there. If this was like in the photojournalism category, might be a little bit stronger because then it's about the people in the place. So, maybe you've got some images without the people in there and they would play stronger. But I think you did a great job. Composition. I love the buildings, the black and white treatment, the angle. It's really great. I loved it at an 80.
All right. Thank you. So we will be taking a 5-minute break. And so right now the time is 7:37. So 5 minute will be 7:42. So we will be back in 5 minutes. So
Got it.
see you all soon.
I don't know if we can talk or not, but I'll give it a try. um, it's nice to see everyone here tonight, and the images are just fantastic. I'm really enjoying hearing the comments, and thank you all so much. My goodness.
Well, that's so nice of you.
Well, it really is amazing to see what people have taken pictures of and thought were important, and it was just lovely. Can hardly wait to see the rest.
Something that surprised me this evening is, by and large, I'm seeing a lot of centered subjects. And my philosophy behind that is center the subject if it's the best way to handle that subject. Otherwise, put the subject somewhere in the neighborhood of the crosshair of the rule of thirds, and you have 4 choices there. And I think that opens up a lot of more interesting crops. So
Right,
just a thought.
right. I agree with you, Nancy.
Well, thank you.
Was that Anne?
Yes, sorry,
Oh.
I'm
Hi.
off my, but
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I think when I was taught, my first teacher, Melissa Grew, she was saying the same thing, the rule of thirds, but she said every now and then there's a shot that, you know, speaks to you that has to be in the center. But for the most part, it should be the rule of thirds.
Yeah, or the Fibonacci or the golden ratio, which is not technically on thirds where the cross intersections are, but it still works. Our brains still like it a lot. So if you
What
ever
is
look at
that?
the golden ratio.
The golden ratio?
Yeah, if you ever look up a golden ratio,
Yeah.
it's very, very, very common in nature. For one, like you'll see it on a conch shell, you'll see it in like in the palm fronds when the palm fronds come up, that rotation that they get, that's actually a golden ratio, and it's a Fibonacci sequence. It's a mathematical sequence of repeating patterns. And what it does is if you overlay that on your image, you will find a spot that isn't always what you might think is thirds, but it's close to thirds. We would call it thirds,
Yeah.
but it's off slightly. And sometimes some images just really, really, really do well if you overlay that golden ratio and then put your main subject right there, or use that curve or that arc as the leading line.
Huh.
Um, yeah, it can be really, really neat. Not a lot of
It,
people use it, and they should.
it's really worth the effort, but it takes effort. When you first look at it, you go, what? But then you get into it, and it helps you rethink your images. You find images within the ones that you've captured that are, it turns it into something super special.
Yeah, and if you do any kind of search on it, you can go down this really deep, dark rabbit hole where the
Yes.
Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio repeats in
That's
everything
exactly that's
from
exactly what's happening to me. I'm looking it up and I'm like my non-math part of the brain is going a little crazy right now.
well, the Mona Lisa is one of those paintings where there's golden ratio alignments all over that thing. But if you do a traditional rule of thirds where you cross hatch it and you lay them on horizontal or diagonal lines, a lot of times they don't line up. And you're like, well, that throws that out of the window.
Yeah.
But the Fibonacci sequence is all over that thing.
Huh.
And it's yeah, it's a really neat creative rabbit hole to go down. So
Yeah, it sounds like fun, actually. 9 examples of the golden ratio in nature. Oh, this is interesting.
yep.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm learning something. I love that.
All
Learning
right.
something. How did that happen?
Sounds
Thank
like a program idea for the camera club.
Uh-huh. Excellent.
All right, thank you, everybody. Let's resume
I don't
our.
know if we have Kip yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I can't see
It's
everybody.
it's Kip. You have to give him an extra minute. He's muted.
No, I'm not.
Now we see him. All right, judges, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Carl, are you ready?
I am ready. Press on.
All right. Starting with image number 27.
In the people category, we have love under the streetlights. Love under the streetlights.
Um, thank you. Wow.
The score is 79.
And I think we're back to Kip again.
I scored this image of 78. Um, I like the fact that there's love. There's a lot of distracting bulbs above their head. Those lights are just a bunch of white dots up there above their heads. That's taking them out of the picture to me. The street lamps are also not straight, so they're leaning in toward them. The ones on the left side are leaning toward them. So that's distracting as well. But just the hot spots up on the top, that's taking my eyes up to the sky, and I don't see them when I have to look down for them. So that is I think I scored it a 78.
All right, thank you.
In the open miscellaneous category, out of the fire. Out of the fire.
The score is 82.
82.
So
82.
Okay, that looks like it's Troy's.
yeah, so I'm at an 84. I really enjoy this a lot. I think this is really wonderfully done. The shadows are a bit harsh and a bit contrasty, but I'm okay with that because the wings stand out and the tail wings are standing out and I just love that the placement in the sky, the dark sky, it feels very moody and very edgy. And I think it's a wonderful capture. So I think you're really well done. The only way that I would have gone up in my score is if it hadn't been so contrasty in the shadows. And I don't really suggest you try too hard to pull out detail there because I think you're just going to get noise. better lighting conditions or something like that may add to the score. But I think what you have here is great. Another reason I didn't go any higher is because the pilot's right wing, our lower wing, that edge is blown out. And that's just something that you might be able to fix if you have a raw file. You can clone some detail in there, work that a little bit. But having blown highlights is bringing me down. So at an 84, I really like it.
All right, thank you.
In the animal category, I love Saturdays. I love Saturdays.
The score is 81.
I scored this an 82, and I think the joy of the whole thing is marvelous. The depth of field is great because it's soft behind the dog, and that helps separate the dog from the background. And yet we have all this detail in the grass where the foot is landing. However, the white characteristics on the fur are blown out. We don't see any detail there. And I think that with just a little bit of adjusting, either in camera or post-processing or both, you can really bring out some lovely detail to show that this is a long-haired animal. But generally speaking, I think this is quite well done.
All right, thank you.
In the close-up category, nature's perfection. Nature's perfection.
The score is 82.
I scored this image an 82. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to judge it on a close up or not, but I like the overall composition of it. Nice contrast all the way through with the greens, with the flower, with the white. Nice exposure on the white, and the background is very well done. It's just well handled all the way through, so I like that. Lovely flower, lovely. I forgot that P word in the middle. Yeah, just looks good. It looks great. What's that P word in the middle? That yellow thing.
I'm not going to say it because I'll say it wrong and then I'll embarrass myself.
Pistol? Isn't it a pistol?
I think so.
Yeah, it's a pistol, guys.
All right, thank you. Next image. Carl?
Hang on a minute. Another technical glitch here.
I can announce the
Hang on just a
category.
second, I've almost got it.
Okay.
Here we go. Photojournalism. Smoking biplane. Smoking biplane.
The score is 83.
Thank you.
So I'm at an 86. Somehow I've gotten multiple planes, so I'm not sad about it. I really, really enjoy the composition. The maker has made such great intention to get the smoke in the frame and not over focus on the plane, which I'm sure that's a strong inclination, right? To get like really tight on that plane, but to show, the smoke and the aerodynamics that are happening. The plane is sharp. You've got the smoke is sharp. You got this wonderful soft blue in the background. It's not blown out or anything, so that's really helping you. Where I could go higher, and I'm at an 86, so I'm already pretty high, but where I could go higher is I would love to see it rotated slightly. Like I would like to see the frame, or actually the image rotated counterclockwise to bring that smoke in the upper right hand corner so we get a little bit more diagonal play in here. And then you've got the swirls as opposed to this horizontal, which feels a little less exciting. But even at 86, I think that's a really good score. And I really like what the maker did here. It took a lot of skill, difficulty, keep an eye on the plane, tracking, like a lot of stuff done here to make this image. And I think it's well done.
For the maker, if Troy would have challenged this, I would have come up. But the only thing, I really enjoy this image. And
You can challenge yourself.
I'm not going to challenge myself.
Okay.
What the only thing I have on this one is the clouds are too bright for me. So if you brought down your highlights, that would just bring it right into capture for me. And also, if you went vertical, I think if it was a vertical with the clouds, it would be awesome.
I would like to challenge.
There you go.
The longer I look at this, the more meritorious I think it is. No, seriously, I've been thinking that this whole time, and Kip just beat me to a commentary. But if it's all right with you folks, I would like to make sure that the maker receives all the credit due to this work. So I would like to rescore.
All right, I have it up. Everybody should be able to start to rescore now.
You're welcome.
All
Troy,
right.
Troy, you're out again.
I know. I got.
The new score is 86.
Yay.
All right. Thank you.
It is a team effort. Thank you.
Next image.
In the category X category, architecture, framed.
The score is 76.
Okay, 76. That one, this one's Nancy's.
You're right. Just there's a nice framing aspect to this, and I appreciate that, but we really need some light in here. Everything is too dark. The water in the foreground is too dark. The buildings are too dark. I appreciate the sky in the background, but the whole thing is quite flat and quite dark. And for that reason, I gave it a 75.
Some of those drops are able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
All right, thank you.
In the photojournalism category, we have Purple Heart recipient walking to remember. Purple Heart recipient walking to remember.
For photojournalism?
The score, yes.
Okay.
The score is 80.
I think it's my turn on this one. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
I scored this image at 79. I really enjoy this image. What I would do on this image is just crop out that right, make it a vertical. Crop out that last flag on the right-hand side, crop into those two flags with the veteran in the middle, and that tells the story right there to me. That center part is the story. Just crop in on that with the beautiful background, and that's it.
All right, thank you.
In the places category, we have Gateway to St. Louis. Gateway to St. Louis.
The score is 83.
So I'm at a 76. And I want to love this image so much. I mean, I really do. I think that the symmetry, the reflection in the water, I think that what we have here is just stunning. But the problem is that it's heavily pixelated, it's heavily processed. There's clone marks in the water that are smudging the reflection. You've got halos around all the trees. It's just one of these things where I think that it's a beautiful image and it probably didn't need as heavy a hand as it has. And I think that that to me is so distracting. The trees in front of the arch, um, are they look artificial, you know, because it to me they're over sharpened. Um, and you know, maybe I'm just reading this image wrong, and maybe this is supposed to be purely art interpretation stuff. But even at that, we've just got a lot of grain, we've got a pixelization, we've got just a lot of things happening. So I'm at a 76, but I want to be encouraging to the maker that you have a beautiful image here. I just think that it's been heavy handed on the editing.
All right, thank you.
In the open miscellaneous category, Our Lady of Lavang, the Virgin Mary. Our Lady of Lavang, Virgin Mary.
The score is 77.
My score is 77, and generally speaking, we have a nice, lovely, balanced photograph, good light on at least the statue and the flowers. However, we have, you know, I always refer to haloing as white, but this is a soft black halo around many of the bars up in the upper half of the photo, and they're quite distracting. So I'm not crazy about that at all. And I think that a little bit of um, taking control over the highlights in the flower area would help, because the brilliance of the contrast in the highlights in that area draw the viewer's attention away from the white of the statue as opposed to the whites in the flowers. So that's where I am with this one.
All right, thank you.
In the animal category, Enjoying Life's Sweetness. Enjoying Life's Sweetness.
The score is 81.
It skips.
I scored this image an 80 because I couldn't go back to a 79. For the maker, beautiful capture, but what you need to do is bring down the highlights. If you bring down those highlights on the orange and on the leaf, on the green leaf, camera right, on the bottom leaf down there, you're going to have something that's really nice. Just the highlights, because your hummingbird looks good, but just bring down those highlights and it keeps your eye right into the middle. So very nice capture. Love the key line. Nothing distracting there. So very nice.
Thank you.
In the open miscellaneous category, Blessing of the Children. Blessing of the Children.
The score is 77.
So I gave this image a 78. Now the highlight control on this is actually pretty good. I think that on the zoom feed it may look a little blown out, but I'm looking at it on the high res feed, so the highlight details are actually pretty good. But where I'm struggling with this is I feel like this image could have been approached from like almost like photographing a portrait, right? You know, you could have stepped to the right a little bit. You could have gotten the statue right under the arch so it was isolated against the blue sky. That would have been really nice. Maybe that right hand would have been obscured by the pillar. You got to kind of play with that. You've got like this sign in the lower right hand corner that has a number plate on it. I don't think that those things are necessary in there. Cropping the sides in, getting rid of those most outside pillars and just focusing on, you know, the vertical pillars. And then a very subtle, non-obvious vignette could really help this image. You've got so much white going on in here. I think that bringing the exposure down overall and then putting in a little bit of vignette could do well. I'm at a 78, which is a little bit of a protest vote. I really, really like it, but you're almost right there. So good job.
Also, just one little small rock on the bottom of Jesus. I would just clean that up and get rid of that and watch your details.
Great, thank you.
In the animal category, the big splash. The big splash.
The score is 81.
I scored this an 83. I think it's terribly exciting. I love the choice of shutter speed, the catching of the highlights on the water drops with the darker colors on the water behind it. I like that I'm seeing great detail in the entire body of the bird and the feet. The reflections are marvelous. I could wish for just a tiny bit higher shutter speed on the tips of the wings, particularly the duck's left wing, because it's starting to blur out just because it's moving so fast. I'm not crazy about the way the splash where the bird, you know, when the bird comes in for a landing, they put the back of the foot down first and it pushes the water along. And I think that there's been a little bit too much processing in that wave of water because it looks more like, you know, surfing down at Huntington Beach than it does, say, a local lake. So I'd like to see that softened up and more what the original capture was in the camera. So that's where I am.
All right, thank you.
In the people category, above and beyond. Above and beyond.
The score is 78.
I scored this image as 77. It's I don't consider this a flattering image of the gymnast or the what is she?
Performer.
What is she? Yeah, performer. The background is distracting. The ropes are up there. You know, you have the speakers up on top. You know, whether if it was further back and you were photographing from the stage and getting something where it's level, where she's level, then that would probably be a better image. But being in this position where you're right underneath her, it's not a very flattering image of her at this position.
All right, thank you.
In category X, architecture, we have Oahu Sky. Oahu Sky.
The score is 79.
I'm at an 81, so I might be a little generous with this, but I really like the abstract nature of this. And I see it in black and white. I think that this image would be spectacular in black and white. In an image like this, I don't think the color is really helping. I don't think that it's really adding. I think it's more distracting than anything else. And I think what's so wonderful is that we have all these diagonal lines and squares. We have lines within lines, triangles, and then all these neat shapes that are going on. And I think that something like this in black and white, where the blue goes really dark, and then the building will pop. I think it'd be much more powerful. So I think I'm at an 81 because I'm optimistic and I see it as black and white. So but I do like the image. So I suggest the maker work on that a little bit.
All right, thank you.
In the places category, Waterfall Ricketts Glen. Waterfall Ricketts Glen.
The score is 83.
Oh, golly, sorry. I'm enjoying this so very much. Of course, the slow shutter speed with the stabilized camera is giving us that wonderful creamy effect from the water. And one thing that I found very interesting is that the tiny bit of water at the very bottom of the frame that is in front of, the much sharper rocks immediately above it, it took me a moment to realize, yeah, that's the real thing. At first, I thought it might have been added in digitally, but no, that water was actually running at that speed and deserved to have that blurriness to it. I loved it. And the detail on the rocks is spot on. So I think that this is what this kind of a photograph should be. I find it terribly impressive.
Thank you.
In the open miscellaneous category, Can It. Can It.
The score is 80.
Well, I scored this image a 78, and I think I missed something because I see the trash can, but I don't have a clue what we're canning. Because I see the paint on the ground, I see the back of the lady, part of her body, and I see another person's figure with a camera in his hand, but I don't have a clue what we're canning. So there's garbage on the ground. I'm lost on this one. I really don't know what we're putting in the trash can.
All right, thank you.
In category X, architecture, La Sagrada Familia. La Sagrada Familia. Please pardon my Spanish.
The score is 80.
So I'm at a 79, and I love the feeling once I look at the image for a little while. But I think what's happening is when it's in the architectural category, there's an expectation of traditional architecture, and this feels very abstract with the lights. Trying to figure out, am I looking up or am I looking down from like a balcony? Uh, there's no leading lines to show me what I'm looking at. So, it's a very confusing image, especially in architecture. Also, there's not a lot of symmetry. We've got some cool things going on inside here, but it's rotated. The pillars are kind of offset. We don't have any balance. So that's why I'm at a 79, because I feel like I like what I see, but I don't think it's strong in the architectural category. I feel like I don't see a lot of the architecture. I see a lot of the abstractness that exists in this frame. So maybe I'm just not seeing it, but in the architectural category, it's hard for me to place it.
All right, thank you.
In the photojournalism category, determined to conquer that wave. Determined to conquer that wave.
The score is 83.
I scored this an 84, and I want to congratulate the maker. This is a challenging photograph. It's beautifully done. Seriously, I have spent so many years taking my students down to Huntington Pier at this time of day. And this is a really tough perspective to get, an angle to get on a surfer on this side of the pier. I think it's well done. I think the choice of shutter speed is excellent. I find myself trying to look very closely at the feet because most of the surfers are wearing straps to attach themselves to the board, and I don't see any hint of the strap, and I don't see any editing to remove the strap. So I think that this is really interesting. Lovely light for the time of the day, lovely capture, well done. I think we could lose a good chunk of the foreground. I think it's unnecessary and could actually distract the viewer away from the subject. And there's so much positive subject here between the surfer and the water behind the surfer and the uprights for the pier. I'd like to see some of this gone from the bottom. And well done.
All right, thank you.
In the photojournalism category, Redlands Bike Classic 2025 Pace Motorcycle. Redlands Bike Classic 2025 Pace Motorcycle.
The score is 77.
I scored this image as 78. It is my turn, correct?
Correct.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I scored this image as 78. I think it's a new bike that the person just got, and with his nice bunny ears or whatever that is, he's riding it right in front of a telephone pole and telephone lines and a house. Just a lot of distracting things behind it. You got a car in the parking lot behind, so it's just a lot of distractions. If he's going to show off the bike, I would probably take him out of the out of his vest and have him stand next to it, possibly. it doesn't look like he's driving it, even though he's, eh, looks like he's just sitting there, but I don't see a kickstand, so maybe he is driving. I scored this image a 78, but yeah, I scored it a 78.
All right, thank you. We have about 6 more images left.
The open miscellaneous category, we have fern fronds. Fern fronds.
The score is 84.
So I'm at an 84. And I want so much to give this like a 95. I want so much to do that. I think this image is amazing. I love the texture, the color, the leading lines, it really, really, really is super, super, super wonderful. At an 84, where I'm at is I want to be super encouraging that there is some Photoshop work going on in here that I can see. You've got some moire effect happening along some of the leaves. They're starting to digitize things like that. So it's hard for me to give too high a score to something where I can see Photoshop work. However, the frond or the plant that we see there, I think that it's just amazing. It looks soft. I love the color. It looks iridescent, almost metallic. I think what you've got going there is something really, really wonderful, and I would encourage you to clean this up and do re-enter it or enter it somewhere else, but take it a long way. I love this, so good job.
Thank you.
In category X, architecture, we have Cathedral of Santiago. Cathedral of Santiago.
The score is 80.
I had a difficult time giving this a score because there are really great things about it and really not great things about it. So I ended up with a score of 83 because I like the vision that the maker has. But let's start at the bottom. All of that cracked, probably, concrete or whatever road material is unnecessary. It can drive the viewer's eye down, and we don't need that because there's so much going up on the cathedral. So I'd like to see that cropped away. And here we have the great darkness up above competing with the great lightness on the lower left. And so I think that with some intentionally clever post-processing, I think we could balance those out a little bit. That's a challenge that I would be interested in taking on if it were my photo. So I think it has room to go and didn't get there, but potential. So
A quick comment. So in the architectural category, I think that it is incredibly important that you have verticals and horizontals where they're supposed to be. You're not going to have a perfect horizontal in this because you have a vanishing point to your left. However, I'm pretty sure that this thing is not leaning to the left in real life. I'm pretty sure those columns are vertical. So in architecture, just for reference, try to find your vertical and horizontals and make them correct. That will help your scores a lot.
Right, thank you.
In the category X category, architecture, Island Monastery. Island Monastery.
The score is 78.
I scored this image a 78 as well. I like this location. I have no idea where it's at. I'd like to go visit it. But it was photographed either at sunrise or sunset, probably sunrise. But that whole left-hand side of the building is totally blown away and needs to be brought down dramatically. So, I mean, that whole hot spot on that left-hand side is just 3 or 4 stops overexposed. So that's where you got your 78 from.
All right, thank you.
In the places category, sunrise on Mono Lake Tofus. Sunrise on Mono Lake Tofus.
The building was announced today will require all law enforcement officials to show their faces. It would also have to be identifiable by
The score is 86.
I'm at an 86, and one of my favorite places in the world to go is I just love Moto Lake, and I just love it here. And I don't get up for sunrise, so I love the fact that I get to see a sunrise. I have once, but I don't like sunrise. Anyway, what a wonderful job you did of handling this image and the exposure contrast that's there and being up early and finding the shots and everything. I think you handled the highlight pretty well. I feel like it's a little too contrasty. I mean, maybe you push the contrast in post or something. The shadows are a little bit too dark. I know that those tufas are not that dark, so that might help. And then also on the left-hand frame, you got this little tufa that's touching the edge of the frame. I just crop in and remove that guy and then leave some water between the main tufa on the left. I think you'll do yourself a good service. Other than that, fantastic image. I would recommend that in the future that you do shots like this, try to do a long exposure and get those clouds to blur, because then you're talking epic. But good job.
Very nice shot.
Just as a reminder, I caught it when I read this thing. I thought something's not right. These are the geological formations are tufas, spelled with a U. Has nothing to do with Japanese food.
All right, thank you.
In the open miscellaneous category, garden beauty. Garden beauty.
The score is 79.
I scored the 78, and this is a nice composition, very pleasing, but it is substantially overexposed throughout the image. And I think I just can't go any higher with that having been done. There are so many easy ways to fix this and adjust it in post-processing. So go have a good time doing that.
All right, thank you. And this will be our last image.
In the places category, Sierra Whale. Sierra Whale.
The score is 80.
Score this image 81. Nice capture. Nice and focused all the way through. Just nice detail. Nice, beautiful sky. Nice. Only thing I would have done is possibly brought down some of the snow on the top right-hand corner, the highlights. But everything else looks to fall in place with highlights and detail. And so nice image.
All right. So right now I'm just looking at the scores, and it looks like we have a tie for the best of show. So Anne and Cheryl and Carl, what do you think? 'Cause right now, from what I see, image number 31 and image number 49 both score 86.
Yes, I have the same thing.
I'm just wondering, did any of you record the scores for all three judges? Because I was
Yes.
just
Okay.
okay.
Spoken biplane was 86 across the board. So it's 86.0.
Okay.
And the
And
other one was I'm looking back to find it.
that's image number 49. That's a sunrise on Mono Lake,
Right.
Texas.
I'm looking for it. I'm not seeing an 86. What was the title of it?
The title
It was
is
Mono Lake.
Mono Lake. Yeah, the Mono Lake one.
And the other one was smoking something.
Spoken biplane.
No.
There it is. It was an 86, an 86, and an 85. So the smoking biplane will be the best of show.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Carl. All right. Well, thank you so much for our judges for helping us with the judging. It's been great insight on all your comments. We really appreciate all your help, and we hope you had a good time with the judging. And thank you everybody for submitting your images. They're all beautiful to me. So we will be meeting July 7th for our next in-person meeting, and we will be distributing the awards for the winners of this competition.
I have to offer my thanks to Julie. I've had some significant health problems over the last few months since I had to get out of the camera club business, and Julie has taken over like a champ. She's done a very, very good job.
Thank you,
I
Carl.
appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Julie.
All
And if I
right.
could say to the people who entered, you know, congratulations to you guys entering, because entering image competition is really hard and really scary. And if you're entering, that means that there is a whole bunch of other people that are afraid to do it. So the fact that you're here and you're entering images and you're letting us talk about them, that's huge. No matter what score you got, I just want you to be encouraged that good job for entering, and don't give up.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you for the
Troy.
encouragement. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Night.